In some filmmakers' works, we encounter a recurring element, motif, or specific habit that serves a particular function. For instance, Taiwanese director Tsai Ming-liang's films are notable for the constant presence of water. A teapot, laundry, a train. We see these objects in almost all of Ozu's works. They must have a special meaning? Not necessarily. They are the tools and implements of life, but they certainly have their own functions. Rain can take on a specific function, symbol, or allegorical meaning within a film. Béla Tarr is a filmmaker known for prominently featuring elements like wind and rain. Tarr effectively uses the element of rain in two of his works, Damnation and Satan Tango. What function does this constant presence of rain serve? First, a little about Béla Tarr's cinema. The basic theme of all of Tarr's films is entrapment. Each film presents a situation from which the characters, no matter how hard they try, are unable to escape. In Tarr's cinema, the dramatic conflict that is established at the beginning of the story remains unresolved at the end. The characters move in a circular fashion, starting from one point and ending up back at the same point. The slow camera movements in Tarr's cinema effectively conveys to the viewer the sense of time passing and of being trapped in a situation. Béla Tarr's filmmaking can be broadly divided into two periods, separated by his 1987 film, Damnation. Prior to Damnation, Tarr's focus was on representing character relationships through simple, improvised dialogue, with less emphasis on environmental representation. However, with Damnation and later in Satan Tango, Tarr solidified his signature filmmaking style. In these two films, environmental representation became a fundamental pillar of Tarr's filmmaking. In this approach, camera movement is largely independent of the characters' positions and serves to represent the environment. From Werkmeister harmonies onwards, this approach gradually changed, and camera movements became more aligned with the characters' movements. Additionally, Tarr's films in the early period of his filmmaking featured long dialogues and numerous close-ups, which later gave way to shorter dialogues and medium and long shots. In the second period of his filmmaking, a stark contrast between the inner lives of his characters and their surroundings becomes a defining feature. The characters seem trapped and out of place in their environments, a sense of alienation that permeates the films. Another hallmark of Tarr's second period is the use of long takes, which plays a crucial role in his filmmaking. One of the primary effects of a long take is the imitation of the continuity of the human gaze, especially when accompanied by a moving camera. Long takes create a sense of immersion in the observed space for the viewer. This sense of involvement is further enhanced by the movement of the camera throughout the long take, as it generates a feeling of motion through space. The viewer, along with the camera, explores the environment. Long takes are always more human than short takes, because they invite the viewer to participate. In contrast, a static camera can weaken this sense of immersion, giving the viewer the impression of staring at a scene from an outside point of view. rather than being involved in it. Landscape and setting are perhaps the most striking aspects of Tarr's cinema. In an interview about his film Damnation, Tarr stated that the landscape is the protagonist of his film and the characters are merely part of it. But how is landscape created in Tarr's work? In Tarr's films, particularly in Damnation and Satan Tango, he creates an environment that conveys a sense of poverty, decay, and abandonment, without being specific to any one country, nation, or region. For example, there are hints of a region in Eastern Europe that has been abandoned in the process of industrialization and urbanization, and has become a worn-out and lifeless fabric. A key aspect that sets Tarr's films apart from his contemporaries is his approach to creating environments. Tarr crafts entirely unique settings by piecing together different fragments. He does this by filming various locations and objects from different parts of the country, and then juxtaposing them to form a new, imagined environment. The end result is a dilapidated, lifeless, and dysfunctional town or village that cannot be directly traced to any specific region. Béla Tarr, the set designer for the film Satan Tango, once said, "We created the locations in such a way that they reflected the endgame of a world era, the state of the last moment before final disappearance. The sites are real, but we shot the film in very different locations. Sometimes we only recorded a street scene, sometimes only a house wall. And we even have a house in the film with an exterior that is in Budapest, an interior in Ajka, and a next-door shop in Pécs. So the film's world consists of real elements, which, however, do not create a real space." In both urban and rural landscapes, Tarr's use of framing and the arrangement of bodies, objects, buildings, walls, and streets creates a pervasive sense of desolation, despondency, and decay. Every detail in Tarr's approach contributes to amplifying this feeling. Elements like constant rain, wind, fog, and mud play a crucial role in Tarr's atmosphere building. Rain in Tarr's films has no symbolic or allegorical meaning. It is an expressive element that helps to intensify the feeling of helplessness. The rain is what creates the mud that traps everything and everyone in place. In Tarr's later films, strong wind takes over from the rain. When asked in an interview why his films are full of mud and dirt, full of people getting drunk and falling over, Tarr's answer was, "I would create the same impression if I made a movie about some other people. This is our nation. This is our role. That is what I see." Tarkovsky, another filmmaker who consistently used rain and other natural elements in his work, employed these elements in a very different way. For example, rain in Tarkovsky's films represents nature's blessing, while Tarr's rain turns the ground to mud, makes life harder, and traps people. In an interview, Tarr discusses the distinction between the rain in his films and the rain in Tarkovsky's films. Tarkovsky is religious, and I am not. He always had hope. He believed in God. He's much more innocent than me. No, I have seen too many things to make his kind of film. He is much softer, much nicer. Rain in his films purifies people. In mine, it just makes mud. In Tarr's films, rain is simply what it is. It carries no particular meaning, but rather serves a function. If Tarkovsky's rain washes and purifies people, Tarr's rain only creates mud and inconvenience. The difference lies in the perspective. One is mystical and sometimes metaphysical. The other is realistic. In Béla Tarr's cinematic universe, the world is a post-apocalyptic landscape, a realm of perpetual descent. It's a world of failed revolutions, betrayed uprisings, and futile movements. In this world, the relentless downpour serves as a constant reminder of entrapment,